something that's in the process, and it's not just North Carolina, but South Carolina also. We did get a response back. I think I got it Monday, that South Carolina, we've got to get the attorney to draw it up, but they are willing to start putting questions about work zones in the driving test when the new drivers go take their test. So that's something I can share with you that we're working on, and then we'll work on that with North Carolina also. But with that, thank y'all for being here. I'm sure nobody in here is busy. Everybody's looking for work, looking for something to do. But I personally do appreciate everybody taking time out of their day to be here. This is a very important meeting where contacts is made, relationships is made, so that we can ultimately try to prevent damages from happening and allowing everyone to go home at the end of the day. So with that, Ann, you want to, and it's obvious Tammy's not here with us today. She does send her regards about missing the meeting.
And I feel sure Tammy does not mind me mentioning, Tammy had a procedure this morning. She had a heart cath and they just placed a stent. So everything seems to be going well. They do have one stent they placed, and as far as I know, everything seems to be going well. So please keep her in your prayers, as she was a bit nervous. So, but I think that part's behind her, and hopefully she's on her way to a quick recovery. All right, with that being said, I will hop into our presentation. Make sure everybody can see that. Everybody's good. Everybody online, are you folks able to see that? I'm hoping yes, because you are hid from my screen. All right, so we'll hop in. I actually did add a slide in for next month, since you guys are right here at the end of the month. I definitely wanted to give you some dates for July, so I added an extra slide in there for you. But here we are, 4th of July almost upon us, and the weather's hot, and mosquitoes are out, and gnats, and all that stuff that comes with the rain that we just had last week. So please be safe out there. Okay, wanted to share with you a few items of interest from our liaisons while they're out and about in their areas. A lot of this information seems to be redundant in some of the areas, but once again, as Roger mentioned, timely communication is key. That's why we have these UCCs, so that you can develop those relationships, the phone numbers, the contacts, the faces, the names, you name it. We just want you guys to develop that communication, so that we are not always that conduit. You've got that one-on-one communication. That's obviously over in the Western. In the Northeast, same thing, communicate with each other by attending the UCCs. This UCC, we had Wake yesterday, two of the largest UCCs in the state. And so a lot of things that happen there. Some of the companies are also working here, so we definitely need you all to attend and keep us abreast of all the large projects that are coming down the pipe. Eastern North Carolina, so that's going to be 95 all the way out to the coast. Just a reminder to populate positive response for your locate tickets. Just a reminder, it's been in the law for quite some time. It is a requirement that the members populate their positive response. We've heard a couple things that, hey, we see marks, we see flags, but there's no positive response. So when you see things out in the field that are not matching the law, please let us know so we can reach out to our members. We do follow that information. It still averages in the high 80s% that there are some members that are not populating positive response. So please let us know if you see that, so that we can remind them to do that. And remember, as the excavator side, you are required to check it. Pre-construction communication is the key. I was mentioning at another UCC other day, my 12 years with a municipality, that was like common nature. We had pre-cons every time there was a project. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why that's not a best practice across the board. But I encourage you all, if you have large projects, get the key players together. If you don't know who those are, we'll help you find those. We do have a great little resource within our RTE platform that you can just search the members that are in that area where your project's going to be. So we can certainly help you navigate that as well. And of course here, or excuse me, over in the Piedmont area, excuse me, updates on jobs without permits. We're still continuing to hear that folks are placing tickets without permits. Really important that you have those. And then this is a large one here. Fiber overbuild projects are calling in large job tickets where multiple drill crews, they move in, you know, they hit it all at one time and they're out within 3 weeks. Great, you know, that the contractors can do that, but it is such an overload for the smaller utilities. So more than ever, we need that communication so that those smaller utilities know how to manage that project, to maybe get you started and then stay ahead as you're working. So once again, coordinate for those pre-cons. Any questions there? I'm sure you guys are all experiencing the same thing. All right, so today I brought with me, if you do not have one of our education pieces, I encourage you, if you need some extra, please let me know. We can provide you more. I want to encourage you to hand these out to your contractors. It's so important that we are trying to make the system as efficient as possible. This has been an ongoing issue now for 5-6 years, but now this piece, the front piece here, came out of an initiative that I'm on the CGA Education Committee. And so we wanted to bring this before you and try to find tools that would help you within North Carolina. So we'll talk a little bit more about the tips, but just wanted to remind you that please feel free to pick these up, hand them out, and just remind them that we need to have good quality information. And I know, Bo, I mean, I can stay fixed on you because we can have this conversation all for a week from now, how important it is to have that information, have sufficient notice. You know, the law does allow up to 12-day notice ahead of your dig date. So if you can give some, you know, some additional time where you're not up against the wall, that gives the locators some extra time. Though the law requires that the member provide a response within 3 days, it will definitely help you all to plan your work. So, and once again, it does help those locators with the stress of trying to respond. And we'll see that in the numbers as we get there. Definitely phone numbers. We need the correct number for the field contact. That always seems to be the biggest issue. Having a good phone number. It does not need to be that person that's placing the ticket because they're not going to be the ones in the field most times. Not saying all the time, but for the most part. And then a detailed description of your work being performed, and it does need to match. If you're white lining, everything needs to match so that the locators are not having to make a guess of what needs to be done. So the biggest thing is to eliminate these unnecessary requests. So we provided you some tips here just to remind you what our software system is capable of. If you're a contractor, and for some reason your job is suspended, maybe you're waiting on a piece of equipment, you're waiting on maybe another sub to come and do a portion of it, and you're kind of suspending the work. Say you're suspending it for 2 or 3 weeks, any given time, we ask that let that ticket expire. Okay, so let that ticket expire. The system will hold it out there on our live server for up to about 90 days. And it could vary, 90, 92, 95, but we give you a good rounded off number, 90 days. So you put that ticket in, you've updated it, and now you're suspended work for some reason. Let that ticket expire. Now you have the opportunity to go back in within a 90-day window, grab that ticket that you're now going to start work back on. As long as the scope of the work has not changed, you can update that ticket. Okay, so what does that do? Well, it helps, you know, the locators from being inundated with the excessive amount of updates. You know, updates, sometimes they can be very quick and, you know, easy to get to. Take a look. Well, do I need to refresh? No, things still look good. Move on. Okay, but for the most part, it is the heaviest noise in the system. And so wanted you guys to just be aware, though this type of information is not in the law, it's a resource that we have and can provide to you. And we want to make sure that it was clearly documented, because we're going to also add that to our training materials as people are utilizing RTE. We want to make sure that they understand they have the ability to let the ticket suspend, let it die if your work suspends, and then go back in, find it. Now, if for any reason the scope of the work changes, or we're after 90 days, you need to create a new ticket. Okay? Is that clear? Does anybody have any questions on that? And is anyone using it? No one using it? Well, I really highly encourage you to utilize that. It really will benefit. And, you know, if you don't have the permits, and we're seeing this a good bit, we've got competing contractors, they're dumping tickets in just, you know, to get work. And then all of a sudden, you know, now we've got this inundated amount of tickets and no work going on. So just wanted to remind you on that. And then on the back, we've got a lot of tools that are accessible to you guys. We have a QR code that'll take you to the safe digging process. So please, if you're educating contractors while you're out and about, let me know. I've got a stack of them. We'll be sure to get them in your hands, and you can keep them in your vehicles. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on and we'll take a look at your numbers for Mecklenburg so you can kind of have an idea. Where we landed for the month of May was 6.7% increase compared to the same time last year. The total number of tickets was 232,891. Last year, the same time was 218,000. So you can see 6.7%, and we've been going up year over year over year. So the demand is there, requires more bodies. So we've got to really work together to try to reduce that noise in the system. We are up 8.5% overall for the year. We are already at almost 1.1 million tickets. Last year, we were at 1,013,000. So, you know, just that amount of increase can really make a difference between, you know, being able to provide on-time locates or, you know, an extra day. I did want to give you an idea of the updates, because we are talking about that and continue to talk about that month over month. This, during the month of May, 30.5% of all the volume was updates. I'm not saying they're not all good, because there are absolutely valid updates, but we know that there is a percentage of updates that are adding to the stress of trying to get things marked. The good thing, on the good positive side, is compared to April, the month before, we are actually down 0.5%. So we were 30, we were a 0.5% decrease compared to the month before. So that's a good trend, and we want to get it back down to, you know, 25%. Year over year, it's been going up. We thought we were staying pretty steady at 28, and then the last couple of years during COVID, it's gone up to 30, 31, 32, and so we are back down a little bit. All right. Well, let's take a look at the transmissions. As a reminder, we are still averaging about 5.4 transmissions per locate, unless you're working in the downtown area, and that's an amazing amount of utilities down there, so obviously a whole lot higher. But on average, 5.4 transmissions per locate. Transmissions are up as well, 6.9% for the month of May, 7.5% for overall for the year. Transmissions already, we are really, well, we're over that now, but at the end of May, we were at 5.9 million transmissions. So, you know, you guys do the math, multiply it times $20 as a very low end. Lots of money being spent on the system. So once again, just trying to get you guys to see the overall picture of the impact of cost. When we look at the month of May here in Mecklenburg, the actual new tickets were down 3.2%. The updates up 6.4, and then 3 hours were slightly a 0.4%. So that's a good trend. Overall, the tickets compared to the same time last year were only up 0.2%. So locates per day, 1447. You know, probably next month, you're probably going to look at 1600. I mean, it's going to be really rocking and rolling. That's usually when we see the highest amount of volume, though it seems like you would think vacations would hit, but usually July is a pretty high locate per day volume. So just as a reminder, help us help you. If the updates are good, utilize them. If not, please let them expire. So when we look at year to date, the overall new tickets year to date are down 3.8%. And the updates are up 12%, the 3 hours. All that typically correlates to each other. But overall, we are up 2.5%. So 83,597 new locate or new tickets. When we break it down for the county, MEC, the overall 31,000, majority of them here in Charlotte, 25,815. Huntersville, you see there, 1989. Cornelius, 1516. Just an absorbent amount of work going on. Matthews with 795 and Mint Hill with 626. Any questions on the volume? I know Roger will cover that in depth. So I will move on quickly. Damages. Once again, as a reminder, as you report your damages to 811 here in North Carolina, we do upload that information to CGA, to the DIRT data. And all of this is all encompassing of that data from other members that are putting into DIRT. So Mecklenburg, you had 212 damages for the month of May that were reported to NC 811. I'm sure we'll find as we talk, there's more. And then Wake was down to 158. And so I kept this slide in here. This was from from Wake County. Parrish put this together, and so he was pointing to Wake and laughing at you all. But you know, that's a lot of times it does flip flop back and forth. But majority of the work in the state's going on in these two counties. So once again, you know, obviously the more tickets, the more risk, and we want you guys to just be on guard. Couple of items that are coming up. Just a reminder, we are closed for 4th of July. So please plan your work accordingly. Some of the other events that are coming up for July, the state UCC meeting, it will be held at Dominion Energy over in Concord. We hope that you'll be there July 11th. And I think we're going to do elections. Is that correct? We have elections, and that information will be going out. I think I received some emails this morning of the elections for that. Any other thing you want to add to that, Lindsay? Or yes. Yes. So for those online, Lindsay was saying we will have online voting as well, and we will be formulating all that information so that you can do that as well if you're not able to attend. July 18th, we will have the Underground Damage Prevention Review Board. We do have a new member on the board with Duke Energy, and so we'll have a new person coming on there. LRPC, we will meet July 26th. We actually postponed it for a week. We typically meet the 3rd Wednesday, but they were very nice to push it back a week as my daughter is getting married in those couple days there. And then July 21st is our board meeting, NC 811 board meeting. That'll be held in Asheville. So a lot of events going on, a lot of information will be coming out of that to share with you in the coming days. Just want to remind you, 811 Day is right around the corner. Before we know it, it'll be here. So we are encouraging you early to please start planning some events. We do have a full campaign area out on our website for you guys to grab anything from social media to graphics to videos. Anything that you want to share, let us know. I will be I do have some labels coming, so I will have Tammy maybe even next month. If you guys want to hand out some water bottles to some of your crews, we can give you some labels to go on those water bottles and, just to encourage them and that, how important that heat stress is. And then next month, just to kind of give you an idea, we do have an 8-minute video next month, but though it seems long, we think it's very important because it is about heat stress, and there's a great testimony of how quickly someone can succumb to that, and it can be very fatal. So unfortunately, in this situation, it was fatal, but it is a great testimony that we want to share with you next month. So, but anything that you guys think you may need or want to share with your employees, let us know and we'll provide it to you. Once again, our team, we are here to serve you. And as a reminder, a copy of the presentation will be placed out on the ncucc.org website. If you haven't visited lately, you can go out there. I know you had mentioned you wanted to be on the Gaston UCC. You can go out there, click on that county, and there is the ability to sign up to be on the mailing list. But I'm going to go ahead and add you so that you don't have to do that. But anyway, with that, Roger, I'll turn it back over to you.
I did, excuse me, I did like the smiley face on the damages up there that Parrish put on there. Me and David was sharing information with me during that, and 212 for Mecklenburg, 158 for Wake. If you look at the year-to-date tickets, Mecklenburg's got 20,000 more than what Wake County's got, so that number really isn't that bad. So, they're not putting all of that in there or looking at it. And I appreciate David taking a picture of that yesterday to compare to today. So, yes, it's bad, and that's what this group's for, is to work on reducing the damages and all of that. 20,000 tickets more on the year, 1,666 per month. It's not too bad, I don't think. So we can always throw that little punch back, and I wish Parrish was on here, but we ain't gonna let them outdo us. They coattail on everything Mecklenburg does anyway, so we already know we're the best, right? With the numbers, again, if you don't know you're busy. Some issues that we are having is everyone's short on help. We're getting who we can get, how we can get them, and we're all throwing them out there in the field. Something to think about with doing that. Are we really educating them on what they're going to be doing out there in the field? Everything that all of us in here does could potentially take someone's life. And that's the way we need to look at it when and I don't like the word teach, because you cannot teach a human being anything. It's a proven fact, but you can educate them. Okay. Only thing you can teach is an animal. You can teach a dog to sit, fetch, give you howdy and all that, but you can't teach a human being to do anything. But if you educate them, that's where we come out to the best at. So we need to educate our people. And I know it's hard to say, take the time and let's make sure these locates are right, because you got 1,400 and was it 1,447 a day locates that need to be done out of, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, 40 locators from Mecklenburg, maybe. Would that be a good guess? Maybe. Counting, and I don't know what y'all have from Mecklenburg. Oh, well, good Lord. Maybe I need to go to Vegas. But even break that down at 40 locators at, let's just say 1,450 tickets a day. Then not counting us contractors that call in, hey, we need a little help on this. We think we found something, or can you come back out and help us with this? Them little favors. and I can speak from us that we appreciate that. And again, I contribute it back to this, to where you make those contacts, relationships, communicate, and able to work together on it. I was, updates really isn't bad, but you said 30% of your tickets for last month and were updates,
Mhm.
but that's for all tickets, right? Not just Mecklenburg,
Correct.
obviously, because we were only at 6.4,
Yeah, 30.5%.
30.5%.
All the tickets were updates.
So, you know, you take Mecklenburg and Wake being the two biggest counties, that's probably going to be close to half of that 30%.
Huge amount.
Yeah, so I don't think that's too bad. What you got there year to date? Yeah. They were at 133 roughly, and we were at 156. I think's what our number was
Year to
there.
date,
Mhm.
almost 1.1 million on
Okay,
the tickets.
so again, that still puts us on top. I don't care how you look at it. One thing that's been brought to my attention, and Lord, I get phone calls and emails and questions and all of that, is there's paint being put on the ground, and then there's things being put on there showing that something is clear or okay, whatever y'all put out there. And the contractors is getting out there and noticing things where this may say, and Cody, I'm not picking on y'all, okay? But you may put clear on something or no conflict on you, positive response, and then you see a house with a service or you know, a valve over there and stuff like that. And I'm not saying this y'all, and I'm not saying this USIC, you know, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying that I'm getting pictures, phone calls, emails. Again, I know everybody's busy. I know we're trying to get these tickets done, get the work done, so you can get out there and find what they put in paint on the ground for, and all of that. To me, your two major ones is gas and electric. Those two right there can kill you. So if they're not located properly and the contractors is getting out there and they strike one of them, you got a potential of a fire or explosion with gas. And if another employee's got his hand on that excavator while they're digging and they hit a 3-phase power line, that guy's not going home. You know, so those two are your most important ones, that contractors do like to see being located properly. And the third one obviously is fiber optic, because that hits your pocketbook pretty hard. Water is important, Don, but it's on down here, buddy.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the only one you don't digest, or the only one you ingest. So I think it's pretty important.
it is important. Don't get me wrong, especially if they hit one of them
Uh,
54s or 66s or, you know, something like that. No, I hadn't either, but I've seen the roads washed out before, though.
You can pretty quickly make the news as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, almost Interstate 77. I think it only like maybe inches from being across 77. Yeah. Oh, I think that's a rock. No, I don't think it is. And then they take the top off of, well, that was a 54. I think it's 50. Yeah, I say that because we went in there and fixed it. So, and what a lot of people, while we're on water lines, is what a lot of people don't realize or understand. Shutting one of those down is not just going over there and flipping a switch. They is hundreds of turns on them valves to shut down a 54-inch line. I hate to say the contractor that hit that thought you could just shut it down by flipping a switch, and they realized that don't happen. But yeah, I mean, obviously, was somebody saying something? Or?
I muted them.
Oh, obviously, every utility that's in the ground is important. Some's a little higher up on the food chain than others. But in all, everybody is doing a great job. I think the contractors is understanding also and working better with the locators, and I hope they are. Just from things that I'm hearing, and I'm getting a head shake in the back of the room. Should I reword that and say most contractors are, and I know you still got some out there that's don't like to play well with others. I'll put it that way. But we're going to get through it one way or the other, and again, reduce damages as much as possible. Does anybody, as Ann says, anybody got any questions on the numbers that was up there? Nah. Okay, that's good. We're going to move along pretty quick today. Try to get everybody out of here. Damages, we'll go just straight on into damages. You got any you want to report or talk about? Okay. Tracy. What you
All right, so in the month of May, AT&T marked, we had 4 damages. AT&T not marked, we had 3. Spectrum marked, we had 5 damages, and not marked, we had 1. And that's all we had for the month of May. Water services, we had 25 of them hit. Mains, we had 7 of them hit. Sewer services, we had 8 of them hit, and mains, we had 2.
You know, I'm gonna ask you where they're located. Okay. Yeah. So you didn't pothole.
I think the rain was a big issue with some of the ones that
Marks got washed away.
Yes.
You know, it only rained, what, 6 days last week? 5, 6 days? Yeah, so, I mean, that's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay,
Yeah.
but the rain washed the marks away and, okay. I mean, it makes sense. I can't disagree with you on that one. But I think they do have a ticket up there. It's a remark. I'm not picking on you.
Oh,
Hi. Okay. That might have reduced some of these. That's right. That's right. What you got?
I got a comment.
It's on.
Scott here with Hyper Networks. This is just a story. You know, we pothole 99% of everything we're supposed to pothole. We pride ourselves on doing a good job, but just a story how even the good guys can slip up a little bit. We were doing a shot with the air hammer, so we're in some hard rock and we're pushing some stuff around, and we were going to go over or go under a water service. And my guy decided to use the locator to get the depth because as we pothole, when you use air and stuff, it's going to find that least resistant path and blow out and stuff. So we're not perfect. We learned from this. He located it at 3.6. We drilled it at 5 and we hit it. And that's just a good example of, you know, not saying he's trying to take a shortcut because he wasn't. He's trying to do the right thing a little bit, but the locator's not accurate. And we preach that. And I'm glad it was just a service, but it's just a story that maybe we all can learn from. You need to see everything, and that's what we preach, and that's what we do. So the pothole is very important, but we're not perfect, but you know, we fixed it or had it fixed, but just a story to pass on.
Well, nobody's perfect. And just by what you're saying is he was going off of the locator instead of, and that's why the locators won't tell you a depth when they're locating something. I mean, I hate that you hit the line, but that is a perfect example right
Mhm.
there of why you can't go buy equipment and the locators can't tell the contractors or whoever's out there, well, it's 3.4 inches deep, you know. It's a, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, did they directional it in? They hit a rock, they had to come over, go under, but you're only locating it here. Uh, it is. It is. And that's what's great about this. We can share stuff like that. And we damage most of ours potholing. Okay. How you been, buddy? Good. I think I just talked to you too. Yeah. What y'all got?
So for May, we have 104 at fault damages for us. But we have 684 total damages. So that's over what, 500 that we're not at fault for. I did pull this month as well. Well, that's all counties. Mecklenburg, I can't get just Mecklenburg on here.
I was like, whoa, we're way underreported. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get it that fast. But so far for this month, we only have 39. So it's going at fault. Yeah. So we're trending in a better direction, and we are constantly hiring. Well, we're ramped up a little more. We have increased our pay, so that's getting a lot more better candidates into our office, and we actually have a new hiring team that's doing interviews and getting the right people in the door. So things are trending in a good direction for us. So
Just getting people in.
that's right.
I mean, that's a hurdle for all of
And
us.
keeping them in the door.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything to add to that? You sure? All right. All right. Blaine, what you got, buddy?
I think we've had a pretty good month. I know of two private power lines that were damaged, weren't located. They're private. Our guys overlooked the path. I don't believe we have any utility strikes this month, so pretty pleased. Other than that, we're good.
Chris, anything you got from Badger?
Now we're just doing a lot of underground detention work on pole holes. We're doing the Allen Steam Plant starting next week. So all things, yeah, but all, I mean, but I know, but all going good. But that's what we got going on. So
You just hear. Don said he just here. Don told me that he's got a day and a half left. And I ain't gonna tell you what he told me he was gonna do on Friday, but yeah, Don's got a day and a half left. See, maybe. See, he might leave it when it gets done here. You just don't never know. George, you got anything to add, buddy? All right, you good? David? Oh,
Yeah, I always speak on Project Atlas. I am contracted through the NCDOT can you hear me? Oh my God. Uh, if anybody out there, I know I was at Wake yesterday or was online at Wake yesterday because they have a big rail project getting ready to go on from Raleigh to Richmond, but does not include, don't take us in on that. But yeah, if I know I do have the 77 corridor, if anybody has anything along the 77 corridor they'd like to hand out from Statesville all the way down to the state line. I do know the DOT is probably looking at something on 77 again. They always do. Seems like Atlanta and Georgia, there's always something out there. But I want to go back to what Roger said at the beginning. I am from the, I was at the NCDOT, and if you want the biggest butt chewing from a DCE to come into the office on Monday morning and pull you in there, if you left your signs out over the weekend, he will burn you up. We almost, all of us in the room almost got fired that day. and we were all contractors. And he said if it ever happened on one of our projects, because he rode through, and like he said, like Roger said, the traveling public, they get used to those signs, they're gonna keep coming through there. Me, myself, being in the industry for a long, long time, I've almost been hit myself, even with signs up, even anything out. I've had people almost hit me on the side of the road, even when I'm walking off the side of the road. So just be careful out there.
Just to coattail a little bit, David, that 80-year-old guy that hit this 28-year-old, he lived in that area. So, you know, yep. Daniel?
Um, just since our last meeting, I just want to tell y'all that I did see a uptick in actual having conversations about the critical facilities, and a lot of you guys are doing a much better job on the larger main. So I appreciate you guys and actually spotting them, because as we see by the numbers, nobody wants a damage. The other side, I'll just remind you guys, we try to do our best to make sure we're putting the sizes of those mains out there. So when you're dealing with a larger critical facility, I'm almost willing to bet if it says 36 or something like that, you're not going to find it at 4 feet. It's going to be deeper. So when we get those calls saying, hey, we went down 4 feet, we don't see it. The concrete kind of says it's a 36-inch or something larger. You may have to dig just a little bit more. But appreciate you guys.
Something I just thought about, is everybody signed the sign-in sheet? Please make sure you do that before you leave. Christian? You gotta be kidding me.
Intern today to learn a little bit more about the process.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
Jonathan, did you tell him how these meetings are? I hope it's all good. If it wasn't, I'll tell you how good they are after this. How you doing? First meeting, second meeting, third meeting? All right. What you got?
Nothing much, but we've been having some locates done for some of our City of Charlotte stormwater projects, and the locators have been really good at locating. So just keep up the good work.
Thank you. Joel. Joel gonna do your report, Robert. You got anything you want to add?
Hey, I would like to speak to Charlotte Water. If you can help us out with RH Price, please. Because they have a tendency of hitting the gas line and continue to work. So I'm reaching out to you guys now for the help, because they hit a line in Huntersville. They folded the line over and continued to work. And as our first responder got on site, he continued to work and he almost hit our guy with a bucket. And when he folded that line over, he didn't realize that when he folded that line over, he created static. And down the street from where that line was is 3 transmission lines that we have that runs through in that area. Right up the street from where he was, Transco has a 30-inch. So if that line would ignite it, it would ignite at that main and went both ways. And he would have went right over those transmission lines, and you would have had a worse problem than you really had. It's 3 transmission lines at $650 a piece. 2 10s and a 16. So I kind of asked him, but he really basically said that, I'm getting tired of you guys coming up and pulling up and telling us not to stop. You don't tell us stop working. And basically I asked him, can you let our guys go ahead and take care of this so you guys can work safely? You just put your guys and our guys standing around here at risk in the public. But he finally stopped, but we just need your help, because that's not the first time. I had Don to me on site on Peachtree for another one where the guys were continuing to dig, and our guys were getting a little nervous because they were digging with a cut main service. So I'm just asking for your help for that. Thanks.
So, hey, this is Carl. Can y'all hear me? Carl Wilson.
Yeah, Carl, we
Hey.
can hear you.
Okay, yeah, if you could send that over to me so I can, and I'm driving, so it'll be hard for me to try to write down what you just said. I'll be happy to address that. Make sure, please send it to me, Carl Wilson. I can't put my information in the chat box because I'm driving, but
Don came out to the one on Peachtree, and because he came over and he stood there with me to make sure I guess when they saw Don, they stopped. So, but
Gotcha.
I'll get that to you, Carl.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And I'll follow up because at the end of the day, we don't want any issues. We don't want to fortunately blow up anyone or anything or any major issues to happen. So yeah, please do. Thanks.
Sure.
Thank you, Carl. Y'all gonna make me run around this room again?
The job that was being done on Peachtree was done by General Services, not Charlotte Water. I'm not exactly sure who is, they were working out of and doing what for, but that was General Services. I can't, I can say something to them, but I can't stop them. There are times that if they are a contractor for us, yes, we can stop them. So if you run into that, let us know. If it happens after today, call George or Daniel.
I'm gonna say, don't call Don. Don gonna
Hey,
be
you
like,
still
all
have
right,
another
y'all handle it.
day.
I mean, good gracious. Cody?
I mean, for those interested, the address was 7101 Gilead Road in Huntersville. I think you was asking for it earlier. I think Joel, you have the PNG numbers for damages and stuff. If not, I got a little thing I can go over.
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, in the month of May, there were gas damages of 58 damages to the gas system. That's roughly 27% of all the damages. If I heard the 212 was the total damages for the month. The top three categories were a locator error, no notification, and excavator failed to maintain clearance. Those are the top three. Those three damages, three categories, covered 73% of gate damages. So of the gas damages, 73% of them were those three categories as a combined number. Compared to April, April actually had more damages by 2, and 80% of the damages of 60 were the same top three categories, just in a different order, but same categories. Again, seems to be a common theme with the damages. So any questions? That's what I have to report.
Joel, I do. On the no notifications, did y'all pass that information along to 811 where they can reach out to those contractors?
Absolutely.
I figured you did. You know me, I just gotta ask, so.
Yeah, we do a quarterly report to Lewis, and he sends out the letters either through mail or email or phone number, calling them. So yeah, he will get that here at the end of June when I get all of my data in. He'll get another report from me.
Well, it's like they can't say they don't know about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's billboards, signs, and everything everywhere you drive. Which one of y'all is gonna give a report from Sam?
We only had one damage that I'm aware of, but we're going through damages. That was this month. Oh, that's.
Last month that you know of.
The week create.
Okay. But you prevented a lot of damages. Okay. So yours is all them up there. Okay. It's like some kind of episode on TV, ain't it? I got to get up here where I can see these names online. Dustin, you have anything? Dustin with Price Brothers. Gone twice, gone 3 times. Joel, do you have anything else?
Now, the only thing I would want to add is take advantage of the Watch and Protect program that Sam is running for us. They are absolutely available to help you contractors with locates and any other questions and concerns regarding the gas system. So take advantage of that service that they provide.
Thank you, Joel. Mike H., you have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, thank you, Mike. Eric, Town of Matthews, you got anything?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Teresa Watley. Hope I said that right.
He did.
I'm sorry, I was trying to take myself off of mute and I was trying to send a chat. So first I have a question. Did someone just say when we were talking about Charlotte Water, that you said it wasn't Charlotte Water, it was City of Charlotte General Services that was working? Is that what you were saying?
That was the name on the ticket, called the ticket in.
And so I guess whoever was talking about that incident, if you could give me a call offline so I could better understand where it happened and what happened. So I'm with the City of Charlotte General Services engineering group that works on our capital projects. And so my team are the utility coordinators to our capital projects. So I just want to confirm if you were saying this was happening on one of our capital projects.
Teresa, is your mobile still 704-534-0570?
That is me.
All right, I'll pass that along.
Okay, thanks. And I don't have any other comments. Hi, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Carl, do you have anything else? And if you're driving, how about being safe doing that?
10-4, they got a lot of construction on what is this, I-40 out here. Good grief. Hey, I do have just 2 things, just to give y'all a heads up. The Finance Committee and the Long Range Committee, we met last week. So you'll be, just a heads up, there'll be some more information coming out about that. And one thing that I don't even know, Roger, if this is the right place, but last weekend I got a call from the assistant county manager. She was she made me think about some stuff. She's like, well, there was somebody working out in front of her house and they hit a line and knocked everybody out of, I think, water or power or something, like either one. I can't remember, and she was trying to figure out who was doing the work. It's like she wishes there was a way for it to there was a way to tell who's doing the work. Like if markings showed up in her yard, she's like, how does she tell like who's actually doing the work? Who's responsible? And I couldn't tell her except for just, of course, call and try to find out, who called in a ticket. Do we have a quick way of doing that? Just curious.
Carl, we do couple of ways she can do that. If she really wants to download the app, she can and use the near ticket feature. Or and any of us, if we are at home and we see someone digging in around our facilities, then we can go on our desktop and click on the near ticket, and it's going to pick up your GPS coordinates from that area. So you can do it through the app, through the near ticket, or you can do it directly from our website. Search for the near ticket and it will find it as well. So that's how she can find that next time, Carl.
Cool, thanks, Ann. I appreciate that. I didn't even think to tell her to download the app. That's okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Carl. James Friday.
Nope, I'm good. Just here to say hello to everybody. And plan to be attending more of the meetings. Thanks.
Thank you. While Carl was talking, that reminded me of a little clip I seen this morning. They go up, this guy's pumping gas, said, "Sir, you mind if I asked you a question?" Sir, the guy was like, "Yeah, go ahead." He says, "What would you do if somebody was breaking in your house and coming there threatening your family? What would you do?" The guy's response was, "I'll call 811." And the guy doing the survey says, "Sir, do you mean 911?" He said, "No, sir, I mean 811 because I need to know where I can dig the hole." So I thought that was a pretty neat little clip this morning, and I did get tickled laughing at that. That was a good response. Who said that? Quick statement, quick comment.
Just a comment that, what I noticed is Piedmont brought up a concern to the group, a very valid concern. And because the city of Charlotte has such great representation here, he was able to get immediate response, follow up, an email, phone call, and all that. And it's how this meeting should work. One thing that I'm always curious by this meeting is the lack of representation by the other utilities. We know Piedmont's here, it's their building, but I'm not going to say utility names, but I see a lot of utilities that don't represent this. And I work with most of them, and often I can't convince them why it's urgent to be here, but they don't understand when I call them and say, "Hey, I need to spend an extra $3,000 to core drill these lines in the middle road." They think I'm just making this stuff up because they don't attend these meetings. They don't know the urgency of not damaging lines, especially gas, especially water and power. Any effort we can make to get the other comms in here that are not represented to these meetings and send that an urgency, because the way that just worked with City of Charlotte, they had 4 people in the room and 2 more on the wall. It worked well. There was immediate response, and I guarantee there will be follow-up discussions. I've had my utilities tell me keep working, and I have to explain to them why I can't. But if they were attending these meetings, I wouldn't have to educate them about why I can't keep working when the gas line's struck. And they put pressure on us as an excavator to make production. And, if we can get them in these meetings, it won't, I won't have to do that.
And there's actually more than 4 with Charlotte here. Just they happen to be stormwater. That's right. But you made a valid point there, Blaine. Used to, we had representation from every facility owner at these meetings. Everybody, everybody was represented. And like you said, now, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 2, Piedmont and Charlotte Water. Okay, I just want to make sure Well, Duke, Dan's here when he can, and I'm not making excuses for Dan.
Charter.
What'd you say, Robert? But you don't cover the electric part. So you cover the gas part. So I say, all right, Duke's represented on the gas side, but not the electric side. Would that be a fair statement? Okay. But you're right, Blaine. I don't disagree with you. And a lot of the issues we have is with the facility owners that is not at these meetings. Yeah, Google's here some. Mm-hmm. Miles, yeah. Yep. I agree with you on that. Anybody online have anything else? And please don't go off yet. We do have something else here to handle, but anybody online have anything? All right, anybody in the room have anything they want to add? Questions, comments? All right. I'm gonna move over here for a minute. And as we were discussing or talking earlier, I can't stand behind the podium. I don't know no other way to put it, but we have someone from, it says nc811.org, Damage Prevention Ambassador Award presented to, and I'm not going to call the name yet, but it also says in recognition of your tireless efforts to keeping everyone safe through damage prevention. It's from Louis Panzer. Louis has signed it and all of that. At this time, I would just like to say thank you to Don Knight for everything. Don, this is yours, buddy.
Speech.
Thank you. No, I'm not gonna.
I'm trying not to.
Let me get a photo.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
I've told people before, this is that Friday was gonna be my happiest day and the saddest day all rolled into one. People in this room, people out there in the field, they're all out doing the same thing we're trying to do, and make sure everybody has the services in without them being interrupted. It's, believe me, I've been in that situation where I was in the shower, soaked down and no water. 35 minutes later, the power went out. It's not a fun situation. You know, the water line was hit, but there's not as many damages as it appears. Some of them are pure accidental. Some of them, I have seen some that was intentional. And I've seen some that was just unavoidable. Rocks falling down on lines. I will say this, that water, I'm sorry, but water is essential because it's used and made everything, and you do not live without it. Because if it was not water, we wouldn't be here. There'd be nothing here. No grass, no nothing. But I'm not just water. I'm about all utilities because we need them all to survive now. As humans, that's what we've trained ourselves. Yeah, we do train ourselves. But it's been a pleasure. Some of you guys I've known a long time in this room. I'm gonna miss y'all. But I'm not gonna be gone. As soon as I can get back to land, I'll pick up my phone and call. But just remember, you're out there protecting this for those who cannot get out here and protect it. The homeowners, the handicapped, the elderly, which I'm getting there. But
About us like that.
I know. But I'm gonna miss it, and I appreciate this. It does mean a lot to me. So,
Well, we appreciate everything you've done also, Don, and we'd just like to say, enjoy your retirement. When you're back this way and it's meeting day, we still expect you to come. And but no, enjoy your retirement, your trip, your beach house and all of that. I'm jealous.
you can remember this, like Ernest T. Bass said it best. You ain't seen the last of me.
All right, does anybody have anything else? Next meeting, I'm trying to pull my calendar up unless somebody knows it right off the top of their head. Oh, gosh.
July 26th.
Yeah, I got 3 places to be that day. July 26th, I guess it'll be here as far as we know.
For those folks online, if you will, make sure that you please sign in. And Carl, I did sign you in since you are traveling.
And everyone that hasn't signed in, how about signing out on the end sheet? But we'll be here next month, 26th, 10 o'clock. The LRPC meeting's at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
11.
11. And then I still got to be in Greensboro for another meeting. All right.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Uh,
Duplicate.
If nobody has anything else, thank y'all. Be safe out there. Stay hydrated. It's hot. And we'll see you next month.